What is up, people? Van from Vanverse Gaming Channel here with another episode on Remnant From The Ashes. In the previous episode, we went through the tutorial and I gave you some tips about the real basics of the game. In today's episode, I'm going to get into the world and how it's generated and talk a little bit about it. Show you a little bit of a secret on how to get the SMG, which is a really nice weapon to have in the early game. And then also with that, we'll just show you a little bit more of the gameplay. So in the previous episode, I forgot to mention about mods, is when you have a mod slotted to an item, it's going to generate whatever it has on it. If you swap that mod out to another weapon, then you're going to lose all of the generation from it. So like right now you can see it's generating pretty good. If I were to then take this mod off and throw it on here, you'll see that it starts back from the beginning. So just keep that in mind. If you're playing through the game, you don't want to switch the mods mid-play. You want to wait until maybe you get to a stone or something of the sort from there. As I said in the previous video, I decided to buy the hunting rifle and give up on the shotgun, the coach gun. I will tell you that in this game you cannot sell anything for scrap. You only can buy and upgrade, but there is no selling in this game of weapons and armor and amulets and all that. You can sell your inventory items, your consumables, but you cannot sell weapons and armor, etc. So, talking about the consumables, this is Reggie here. If you go to him, he's going to offer you different consumables.
Oh, man, it's good to see a new face.
All right, come on, buddy.
Give a kind, but hey, you're the hero of the...
Okay, so when you first start this game, I'm going to say that the most important consumables that you're going to want for Earth are going to be this oilskin tonic, which clears infection. And in Earth, you get infected all the time. You're going to want to pick up a couple bloodworts. You really don't use regen that much. I would say that if you're doing okay, your Dragon Heart should do a pretty good job of keeping you through until the next checkpoint. So you don't need a ton of these. I'd say maybe one or two. Bandages, there are specific creatures that will bleed you. Bleed is a real problem. If you get bled, you really want to have a bandage or two. So I would recommend one or two bandages. Ammunition boxes, like I said, for the most part, unless you're using a weapon that blows through ammo or your offense rating is low for the zone, you shouldn't need to use ammo boxes. The ammo you pick up within the game should keep you going, where you can switch back and forth between your long gun and your short gun. But just in case, if you're on a boss or you're fighting certain things, you may want to keep one or two of these in a clutch where you need to get some ammo and fill your ammo up. Adrenaline, I never use these. They're pretty great with the whole movement speed with some bosses where you got to run away. But to be quite honest, I don't ever click them. When I try and remember to click them, I always forget. So, truly, I wouldn't recommend wasting scrap on these. If you have a difference of opinion, please put it in the comments below. So right away, you want some oilskin tonics, some bandages, an ammo box, and maybe one or two regen potions. That's pretty much it. So Ash over here, she's the one that sells you crafting materials. So when you come in here, she has different crafting materials that she sells you. So right now she's selling you iron. Iron is required to upgrade a weapon or armor to +5. Then it goes to the next tier, which she isn't selling right now, which I think is forged iron. That gets you from 5 to 10. Then you get to galvanized iron, which gets you from 10 to 15. And then I think you get to hardened iron, which gets you from 15 to 19. Then from 19 to 20, you need a specific item called a simulacrum that will take any weapon you have and any armor you have to a level 20. Now, those simulacrums are also used to increase the amount of dragon hearts you have, so I would not recommend spending them. You get a couple, maybe one or two in a normal campaign, but then you'll get more as you play through an adventure mode and go in from there. So I would recommend not spending them until you're really sure you know what you want to do with them.
Take care then.
Now this guy over here, this guy was added to put some cosmetics in the game. So basically, he is going to give you different skins for the different armors that you have. So if you look here, okay, like right here is the roughneck helmet. This is basically the scrapper armor, but this is a different skin. these require glowing fragments. Glowing fragments are only obtained through different modes, and I'll kind of show you that here when we get over to the stone and go from there. This area here is where somebody's going to end up who is going to increase your dragon heart capacity. She's not there yet. You actually have to unlock her in the game. So that's this room. And pretty much I think we've covered everything. We've covered the girl who does your mods, the armor, all that. So now let's talk about the different game modes and difficulty. So when you click on this stone, before you get into your game, you're always in campaign mode. So you'll see right down here, you have this survival mode and world settings. If you click on world setting, it's going to give you the 3 different modes that you can do in this game. You have campaign mode, you have adventure mode, and you have survival mode. Basically, campaign mode is a story where you play through it and you have to do certain things, kind of like what we're doing. Adventure mode allows you to load up a specific area just to farm it in order to get events or bosses or gear that you never had before, or even traits. Survival mode is a whole separate game mode where you basically start at 0 with no items and you play through the game, and as you play through it, you kill bosses. The more bosses you kill, the better your score gets. And there's different achievements and different traits that you can unlock by doing survival mode. So each one of these modes is unique in its own way, and it's what keeps the game fresh. The campaign itself is not very long, and so you're going to be doing a lot of repetition, either in adventure mode or other ways. And survival mode is a nice fun thing where you say, okay, I think I'm really good at this game. It's basically a roguelike where you run the same thing over and over again and you see how far you can go. Now, each one of these have a difficulty. So if you say to choose this, you can choose normal, hard, nightmare, or apocalypse. There is no difference between hard, nightmare, and apocalypse. The only thing you get that is different is that you get those glowing fragments for the skins, for the armor that you had that I showed you. That's really the only difference of playing it on hard, nightmare, apocalypse, is you're looking for glowing fragments in order to buy all the skins because there's achievements for that. Other than that, there is no benefit to playing it on hard, nightmare, apocalypse unless you're just so bored because everything's so easy, you want to play it on those difficulties. Now, this is a Souls-like game, so I would highly recommend you play it on normal, because if you play it on hard and you don't have a lot of trait points, you're probably going to get hurt pretty bad. You really want to make sure you have a good amount of trait points and you know the fights, or hard is going to be something that you're not going to have fun with. So you can do the campaign on different hard modes, you can do adventure on the different difficulties, and survival mode there is also on different difficulties if you really, really want to. Now there's one other thing that we didn't talk about, and that's hardcore mode, but that means you start a brand new character, and when you start the character, you choose hardcore mode right out of the gate, and all that does is you can play campaign or adventure mode, but you play until you die. If you die, your character is lost and you start over from scratch. So it's one of those no death type modes to beat the campaign, and there's additional things that you can get in this game by doing it on hardcore mode as well. So that's basically all the game modes and difficulties. If you have any questions on it, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll try and do a better job explaining them if I didn't already. So we're playing on the campaign, and we can travel to that specific campaign by clicking on travel, and we're going to follow the story. So we're about ready to get into the meat and potatoes, and I want to explain to you how the world is generated. So the first world that you enter is Earth. And Earth is basically a procedural generated map. So what that means is the basic map stays the same, but every side dungeon and or boss is procedurally generated every time you roll. So when you first start a campaign, it generates what that campaign's going to be. If you re-roll the campaign and start over, the dungeons and the world bosses are going to be different than the first time. Same with adventure mode. So once you play through the campaign, that is a large part of this game, is re-rolling the different areas and playing through them again and trying to get different events and bosses to spawn.
Yeah.
So, we just picked up a key card here. This key card is used to get us the SMG, which we're going to show you here. But before we do that, we're going to jump into this area, and we're going to go pick up another set of gear. Alright. And here it is. So we just picked up the Drifter set. So if we go into our inventory and we click on it, you'll see well, it's not there yet. It will be. It's still loading. So stamina cost is reduced, stamina regen is increased. So this is a set for people who want to dodge roll a lot and sprint a lot and not run out of stamina all the time. And there's little books of lore that you can pick up here and there. So now that we have this, I'm not going to go out into Earth. I'm basically going to go back to Ward 13 and show you where to get the SMG. So back to what I was talking about, the procedural generated is Earth has basically several / events or dungeons. So it has the main map, and there's different branches off of the main map. When you go into those different branches, every time you zone into an area, that's going to be a dungeon or it's going to be an event. And then once you get through those specific areas, at the end of the world, there is a specific world boss, which is different than dungeon bosses. When you kill that world boss, that area is done. So you can explore everything, you kill the world boss, and Earth is done. And in campaign mode, you move into the next area. On adventure mode, you would basically re-roll Earth again, play through it again, and hope that when you enter that area that's a dungeon, you get a different dungeon or a different event. So, that being said, let's go get the SMG, because that's going to be our close gun weapon of choice. And to do that, we needed the ward's key. And now we're going to head down here. So this is where we fought at the beginning. We're going to go down to B2, and we're going to head in here. So this key card is going to unlock this door here, and this door here is going to basically allow us to get a fuse, and that fuse is going to allow us to unlock some doors to get the SMG along with some other stuff. Okay, so you notice this blue, this is a book that I was talking about. This gives you trait points. It's called a Tome of Knowledge. So as soon as you do that, if you go to your traits, you'll see that you now have 1 point to spend, and you can choose to spend it in the traits you have available. You unlock different traits as you play the game, so it's up to you if you want to hold off on these. I would highly recommend putting this into Vigor in the beginning, just because health is pretty important when you're new and you don't understand how to dodge roll away from stuff. It'll just help you stay alive longer and go from there. So while you're here, you can chop up a bunch of boxes and chop up a bunch of stuff and do a bunch of stuff. I am going to save you the hassle of watching me do that, but you understand what we're going to do here. So green, as I told you, are consumables. I just picked up an oil skin tonic, and then we picked up another bloodwort. But we're going to go down this hall, and in one of these rooms is going to be a fuse. So to see how this is kind of an orange instead of a red, that is for quest items. So we're going to take this fuse, and we are going to go down to the next level. Now the SMG is a really great gun for close range. It's terrible for long range, but it's really good for mod generation, and it does a significant amount of damage when you're up close. So we're going to toss it in here, and we're going to turn the power on. Okay, once the power's on, we can now open this door here. And then as soon as we open this door, we're actually going to turn the power back off. Oh, we got to actually open the door. And you're going to come down here later in the game at the end for something special. So we're going to turn the power back off. And now, when we go over here, there's actually a fan that's like this, and if we go in here, this is actually going to allow us to get this other quest item, which is a Ward 13 Master Key. But since we're down here, we have to go over this way and get some more fun stuff. So all of these chairs are breakable. This is a great place to farm scrap when you first start the game. So if you don't have enough money to buy specific weapons and armor in the game, you don't even have to leave Ward 13 in order to get a bunch of scrap. I mean, I just sliced up a whole bunch of chairs. And you can see how much scrap I'm getting just by chopping these things up. And there's an ammo box. So I would not buy anything from the consumable vendor early on because you get it unless there's something that you're missing. So like I said, consumables that are very important. Here's another trait point. Consumables that are very important are the bloodwort, the ammo box, the oil skin tonic, and some bandages. So right now I don't have any bandages, so if I don't pick up a bandage, I would highly recommend before you go out at least having 1 or 2 on you. But I'm pretty sure if you clean through this area, you'll probably find a bandage. So now we have the key, and we got to go back to the floor we were on where we got the fuse, and we got to go to the end and get the SMG. And that's where we're going to end this video. And then in the third episode, we're actually going to start cranking through Earth, and I'm going to show you the combat and how to do the different dungeons and give you some tips and tricks from there. But this SMG is super important, especially early on when you're first learning the game. It's just a nice weapon to have to help you get through the game. So we're going to go through here. All the way to the end. And this is going to take us upstairs. And we're going to use the key on this door. We're in, and as I said in a previous video, purple means that it's an item. So we just got that wonderful purple item. There's a green right here. This is a bandage. What is this? Another bloodwort. And if you want to read this little manual diary journal, you can. And then when you jump back down, you're back on the ward floor that you were before. And now we got ourselves an SMG that fits in our handgun. Now this will definitely generate more mod power than my hunting rifle. So I'm going to equip that to my SMG. I'm going to use my hunting rifle for a lot of the long-range combat, and I'm going to switch to my SMG for close range. But because it's ticking away, I want to have the heal available for when I need it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tune in for the next episode where we actually go to Earth and start churning through, and I'll kind of show you the different events and the different things on how Earth works, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching. This is Van from the Vaniverse Gaming Channel. Cheers and peace out.